welcome to Master Lectures. Now, in today's video lesson, we are going to be looking at likely questions on isomerism. Alright, likely questions on isomerism. Now, this is the first part of this series. Alright, now we'll drop more videos on questions that you can also likely see in isomerism, whether you are preparing for 2026 JAM or you are preparing for 2026 YX. Now, let's look at this first question. It said 2-methyl prop 1E is an isomer of. Now, what is isomerism? Isomerism is a phenomenon whereby compounds have the same molecular formula but different structural formula. Guess what? There is a more simpler version to that definition that I like to use. Now, that simpler version is simply isomerism is a phenomenon whereby compounds possess the same number of carbon atoms but different structural formula. So an isomer, or when you have two compounds, you have two different compounds, those two compounds can be an isomer if they have the same number of carbons. If you have two different compounds, those two compounds can be isomers if they have the same number of carbons. Now, look at it. So, our attention is going to be how many number of carbons do we have? Alright? So, look at this question. 2-methyl prop 1E is an isomer of. Now, ask yourself, how many carbons are there in 2-methyl prop 1E? How many carbon atoms are there in 2-methyl prop 1E? Now, drawing the structure of 2-methyl prop 1E, the structure of 2-methyl prop 1E, you are going to have this. Alright, so it is propene, 2-methyl, so you have the CH3 here, then hydrogen, then hydrogen. So this is what 2-methyl prop 1E looks like. Now, if you don't know how to draw the structure, don't stress yourself. Alright, if you don't know how to draw the structure, just look at it. You have 2-methyl, so methyl, you have a methyl group. So methyl has one carbon. Then you have prop, alright, coming from propane, which has to do with 3 carbons. So when you add 1 to 3, what do you get? 4 carbons. So therefore, 2-methyl prop 1E has 4 carbons. Now look at the diagram. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so it has 4 carbons. Now, 2-methyl prop 1E is an isomer of. Now, how do you know the isomer? Just go to the option. Which one has 4 carbons? That's just it. Which one possesses 4 carbons? Now look at it. A, butane. Butane. It only has 4. Alright? 4. Now, which is similar to 2-methyl prop 1E. Now what? Let's analyze other options. Pent 1E. Pentane. Pent. That's 5 carbon atoms. So it can never be an isomer of this. 2-methyl butane. 2-methyl butane. You have but already 4, butane 4. Then you have 1 methyl group. So that is 4 plus 1, 5. And remember, this guy is that's 4 carbons. Then look at the other one, 2-methyl butane. It's the same thing. You have butane, alright? 4 carbons. And you now have a methyl. So 4 plus 1 carbon in methyl. Methyl is CH3. So butane, it has 4 carbon atoms. Right? If you can remember butane having 4 carbon atoms. So 4 carbon, that's C4, plus 1, that's C5. So the only one that has 4 carbon atoms with 2-methyl prop 1E is butane. So therefore our answer is A. Now look at the next question. The same shortcuts. The pair of organic compounds that are isomers is A, benzene and methylbenzene. Benzene has 6 carbon atoms. Methylbenzene has, now, methyl CH3 plus benzene that has 6. So 6 plus 1, 7. So these two can never be isomers. Trichloromethane and tetrachloromethane. Now please take note, when we are talking about isomers for alkanes, alright, please note methane, ethane and propane do not have isomers. Alright, so methane, ethane, and propane do not have isomers. So automatically, this one that is carrying trichloromethane and tetrachloromethane is totally what? Out of it, as well as option A. Now, option C, we have ethanol and propanol. Ethanol has 2 carbons. Propanol has what? 3 carbons. So therefore, they can never be isomers. Now let's look at this. But1 and but2. But 4 carbons. But1 has 4 carbons. But 4. But2, it also has what? 4 carbon atoms. So the one that will be the pair of organic compound that will be isomer in question 2 is option D. You can see how this shortcut method is going smoothly. Now just continue to apply it. Now look at this question, question 3. How many isomers does pentane have? How many isomers does pentane have? It's very easy. Now remember I told you that isomerism in alkanes, alright? Now remember methane, ethane, and propane do not have isomers. Okay, so isomerism in alkanes begins from butane. So now just memorize it. We know we have butane, so but after butane we have pentane, we have hexane, we have heptane, we have octane, we have nonane, and then we have what? Decane. So memorize this number, right? Number of isomers in alkane starting from butane to decane. It is 2, 3, 5, 9, 18, 35, 75. 2, 3, 5, 9, 18, 35, 75. Alright, so that means butane has 2 isomers, pentane has 3, hexane has 5, heptane has 9, octane has 18, nonane has 35, and decane has what? 75 possible isomers. So looking at this question, how many isomers does pentane have? Right, when looking at it, our answer is what? 3. Option D. Alright, option D. Then lastly, an isomer of C5H12 is an isomer of C5H12. Now what is C5H12? C5H12 is an alkane known as pentane. Right? So you don't need to know, you don't need to focus on the hydrogen. Just focus on the number of carbons. Remember I told you, an isomer, how do you know if 2 compounds are isomers? How do you determine if 2 compounds are isomers? Now just count the number of carbons. If the number of carbons in the 2 compounds are the same, that means they can be isomers. So forget about this hydrogen, just concentrate on what? The 5. So it means 5 carbons. So among the options, which one we have what? 5 carbons. Now look at it. We have butane, which is not part of it. We have 2-methyl butane. But 4 plus 1 methyl plus 1 carbon from the methyl. Alright, that is 5. Good. You can consider this. Then C, 2-methyl propane. Propane is 3 carbon plus 1 carbon from the methyl. So 1 plus 3, 4 is not to 5. So automatically C is wrong. Then D, 2-ethyl butane. 2-ethyl. Ethyl has how many carbons? Ethyl has 2 carbons. So butane has 4. So when you add 4 plus 2, you get what? 6. So it's not the same. So the one that will give you an isomer of pentane, C5, alright, the one that will have 5 carbon with what you have in the question is option B. Option B becomes the answer. 2-methyl butane. Butane is already 4, C4. Methyl is what? CH3. So 1 carbon plus 4 gives you what? 5. Thank you very much.